Hi everybody, and welcome to the College Admissions Snapshot, case study number 3, where today we're going to dig into Rohan's profile. Now for context, Rohan just finished his junior year in high school, and only now, importantly, he's starting to think about colleges and maybe wants to apply to one of the service academies or to get an ROTC scholarship to a traditional college. Now, I don't want to go too far into a rabbit hole with details right now. If you're not sure what I mean by these two things, please go to my website, go to the blog, and find the blog that's titled, What is ROTC and Why Should I Care? And another blog that's titled, All About the Service Academies, and you'll get a lot of details. Suffice it to say right now that the service academies include the Naval Academy, West Point, Air Force Academy, Coast Guard Academy, and the Merchant Marine Academy. And an ROTC scholarship allows a student to go to a traditional college like Boston College or UCLA or Princeton essentially for free as long as there's a commitment, a military commitment after they graduate for 5 years of service to your country. And the same goes for the Naval Academy in West Point. There's a 5-year commitment afterwards to pay back for this elite, highly regarded education. So let's put that aside for now. Now, importantly, Rohan did not really get the memo on the steps that it should take in 9th, in 10th, and all during 11th grade. He's coming at this a little bit late, so I'm going to show you as we go through his profile where some gaps are because he didn't get started on this early enough, which is what Naval Academy is all about. So let's get started. If we start above the initial screen, as we normally do, the service academies and ROTC programs, much like the traditional colleges, they like to look at academics first. It's objective measures, and it allows them to call out the serious people from the people who have no business at these schools. So they're looking for very good academics. Not perfect academics, very good academics. Let's see how Rohan did. Number one, his GPA. He's got a 4.0 GPA. So right off the bat, that's pretty good. Now, he did take some weighted classes. So if you look at his unweighted GPA, which is what the service academies will do, it's a little bit below that. It's probably like a 3.8. But still, it's strong enough for him to be a viable candidate so far. Let's see his SAT or ACT. He got a 30 on the ACT. They like at least a 28. So he's got a little bit of breathing room there. Great. For those of you playing at home, that's the equivalent of an SAT of 1390 to 1410. If you're interested in what the difference between the tests are and how to know which one to take, please go to my blog for more details. Let's move down. SAT subject tests. He took a math, good, and he took a world history. Now, these are not as relevant or as important for service academies and ROTCs as they are for traditional colleges, but it still gives them a nice little signal about how well they're going to do academically. So Rohan got a 690 and a 680. Strong scores, not blow my face off scores, but pretty strong. Once again, for the service academies and ROTC, they wouldn't be able to fill their seats if they had to fill them with people who got perfect SATs and perfect ACTs and 800s on all their SAT subject tests and 5s on all their AP exams. There wouldn't be enough people. So thankfully, there's some forgiveness here of not having to be that supernova perfect academic student. So far, so good for Rohan. We all know now that he's taken a mix of regular classes and AP and honors classes. So the boards are going to look at that and say, okay, academically, Rohan's done pretty good. He's challenged himself. So the bottom line is he's going to get through this screen. Congratulations, step number 1. And this is even without knowing that academics were going to be that important. Of course, it would be better if they were a little bit higher, but he's working with information only in 11th grade. Let's move down to extracurriculars and see how that goes. With extracurricular activities, the service academies are going to look primarily at athletics and leadership. Athletics and leadership. Let's see how Rohan does. Right off the bat, you can see athletically, he looks in pretty good shape. He's played baseball for 3 years. He's done rugby for 2 years. He's on the ultimate Frisbee team. So he's checking off a couple good boxes there. What else has he done? Well, he's done Sea Cadets, which is an organization in high school that helps slowly bring kids into the Navy culture and military bearing and what the Navy's all about. So that's good. That shows some demonstrated interest in the Navy. He's also had a job as a dog walker. Okay, shows some responsibility, makes a little bit of money. So as I look at this, and we look at this great triumvirate over here, academics, athletics, and leadership, he's got a decent number of athletics However, Rohan, hello, where's the leadership? They very specifically want to see leadership potential, leadership confidence, the fact that you're challenging yourself with leadership positions. I don't really see anything. I'm hoping that there's something in your back pocket that I haven't learned about yet, but I don't see captain of the baseball team. I don't see commandant of the Sea Cadets or some kind of high-ranking Sea Cadet. I don't see founder of the Ultimate Frisbee Club. I'm not seeing really any leadership roles, any leadership positions. That could be a very big gap for you. And it's at this point where, man, I wish I had my hands on Rohan as a freshman, as an 8th grader, as a 10th grader, as a last resort, to let him know that it's important to start seeking out leadership positions. So when you're at the end of 11th grade, you have something here to hang your hat on to prove to them that you have competence as a leader, you're interested in being a leader, you've understood what type of leadership style has worked or not worked. Right now, you're an unknown entity. Let's move on. Awards and honors. In this case, Rohan's top 10% in his class. Not bad. They certainly look for the top 20%, almost as a minimum. So that's good. Not valedictorian, not top 1 or 2 or 3 in the class, but he's hanging in there. Letters of recommendation. Oh, by the way, before I go forward, extracurricular activities other than leadership roles, what I would also have advised Rohan to do is to do other stuff that seems like you're interested in the military. For instance, get scuba certified, become a lifeguard, take some pilot lessons, do a Spartan race, run a marathon, volunteer as a firefighter. Do some things that show manual literacy. Do some things to show that you would be a good military person, which can be technical, can be hands-on, does require some manual literacy. You're drawing blanks here. So again, in my program, I start early on by feeding kids ideas on how they can fill up these extracurriculars with things that the ROTC board and the service academies want to see. Unfortunately, Rohan was a little late to the party. Let's see if that's going to be his undoing. We move on. Letters of recommendation. Rohan has a decent relationship with Mr. Signorelli, who's his guidance counselor. He has an okay relationship with Mr. Jacks. That could be a lot better. He finished his math class. He did pretty well in math, but he didn't get the memo that he had to have a math counselor write a recommendation for him to go to one of the service academies for an ROTC scholarship. So when he started 11th grade math, he didn't have that in his head, so he could have volunteered more. He could have done better on his exams. He could have helped tutor kids. He could have established a better relationship with Mr. Jacks. Unfortunately, can't do it anymore. So once again, I hope that's not going to be a gap that's really going to bite him in the end. Let's move on. Demonstrated interest. This means, has Rohan demonstrated interest in these service academies or ROTC programs? Has he reached out to them? Has he visited the campus? Has he connected with a blue and gold officer or an ALO? Or has he done anything related to the service academies or ROTC? Unfortunately not, because he didn't have anybody there prompting him and letting him know that that would be a good idea. He could have, at the end of 9th grade and 10th grade, applied to and gone to the US Naval Academy STEM camp. Woo! Would have been awesome. He could have applied a few months ago to the United States Naval Academy Summer Seminar. If he had gotten into that, woo! All the wheels are coming off. That would have been great. Unfortunately, when you don't have this guidance along the way and you try to do it at the last minute, sometimes you can't go back in time. So unfortunately, for demonstrated interest, not that strong. Let's move down. Main essays, these service academies and ROTC, it's more like personal statements. Why do you want to join the military? What attracts you to a military lifestyle? Those types of things. So I think he's probably going to do okay on those because he's a pretty good writer. That remains to be seen, so we'll leave that off for now. And then lastly, hooks. What types of hooks might help you out for service academies and ROTC? Well, if your uncle is the Vice Admiral of the Navy, that would be nice. If your dentist knew the congressperson in the local jurisdiction, that would be nice. If you had some kind of a connection, that would be great. Rohan maybe is looking for those types of things, but doesn't have one of those things in his back pocket right now. So before I give you the yay or the nay for Rohan, just want to make sure that Rohan knows that there's some other steps to take. There's a congressional nomination for many of these programs that he's going to have to earn by going in front of an interview panel. There's a fitness test, which hopefully he will crush when the time comes. There's a medical exam. Make sure that there's nothing, he doesn't have asthma or other things that might that stop him from serving in the military. So in the final assessment, does Rohan have a good chance of getting into one of the service academies or earning an ROTC scholarship? Is it a yes or is it a no? In this case, I'm going to give it a maybe. I don't like to do this, but I'm going to give it a maybe because he's close, and I think what's going to get him over the edge or not is the quality of his interview skills, how well he does on his fitness test, who he gets his congressional nomination from, how well his personal statement reflects who he is and what he cares about, how much he's thought about these different programs, how well he can articulate that to the board. Those things are going to help him go from here to here. If he doesn't buckle down and really find somebody that's going to help him nail these things, it's going to go here. Rohan, I wish you luck. Please contact me. I can help you out. For those of you out there who have people in your world who are interested in the service academies, ROTC, please, I will send you this PDF. You can go through it with your son, your daughter, your nephew, your student, whatever it might be. And if you're a student yourself wondering about this, I'll send you the PDF. It's got a glossary of terms. Go through this in 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, not 11th grade, not 12th grade. Start early so you can fill in the gaps that Rohan missed. See you on the next one.